The Lord is our shepherd, I shall not want. Him maketh I lie down in the green pastures. Him leadeth I beside still water them. Him restoreth I soul. Him leadeth I in the path of I trust and namesake. Yea! Though I RASTA, I go watch through the valley of the shadow of death, I can't fear no evil. For thy rod and thy staff them comforted I and I. Unu prepare a table before I in the presence of our enemy them. Unu anointed I head with unu oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy, I go follow I all the days of I even. Me I go dwell in the house of the Lord God Jah. Kadamawe grumabe atela exact beer tanaistalin abba shante 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 kadamawe grumabe atela where two centuries meet in the name of the Most High Jah and that's so Jah there. If Jah never build up your house, the builder I go build it in vain. Same way if Jah never watch upon your house, the watchman I go watch it in vain. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run into it and them is safe. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but Jah shall deliver him from all of them. And I give thanks and I say unto your name, King of Kings and Lord of Lords, the conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, Amasa Yahuda Amasa, the Gusto Daniel Ama, Komaya Sataya. Au Mauso Bolisa, Adanuoto, Ewo Asiklea for. Au Mauso Bolisa, Akpe Kaka. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushonamo, where we speak truth to power. And my name, Blakk Rasta. In every traditional African home, there is a black pot. What is the significance of the black pot? Each time it sits on the fire, ingredients of so many different kinds, types, sizes, shapes, aromas, flavors, find their way into the black pot, are subjected to some amount of heating, and they produce one homogeneous product known as food. Now the food does not even benefit the black pot, neither does it benefit the ingredients. It benefits us, the eaters. Yes. Now the black pot is so symbolical of the continent of Africa, and the ingredients in the black pot represent us. We must put aside all our differences like the ingredients and find ourselves right there on the continent of Africa. Make sure we interplay to bring about development for our people, our continent, our land. We must be generational thinkers. We must be tree planting people. The Joshua generation. Many people are selfish. They want to eat all that they have right now, sleep, die, and go and be forgotten. They do not want to be engaged in anything profitable that will outlive them. It's time now to plant the trees. Though we know that we will not live long enough to sit under the shadow of the trees. It is important, as it stands right now, to think about the next generation and generations to come. After all, anytime we sit under the shade of yet another tree, we must remember that other people thought of us and planted those trees for our benefit, when they themselves could not benefit from that. This is the pot, not just any pot, but a pot that is black. And here we don't criticize. If we must criticize, we'd only just criticize to build and not to destroy. And the interesting thing is that we are in the service of God and country. We don't do politics. What we do is called patriotism. Now, the very first story we are looking at today seems to be coming from the loins of governance. Ofori-Atta summoned before Parliament again. And this is Ken Ofori-Atta. He's one of the most arrogant finance ministers this country has had. His father was a deputy finance minister in the 1970s. A very learned economist who came into this country, served as an MP on 2 different occasions. But at the end of it all, he messed up the economy of this country as a deputy finance minister. Now, in the 1970s, when his father was the minister of finance, they borrowed so much money that this country dropped to its lowest ebb. And it caused a coup d'etat that ousted Busia and brought in the SMC-1, the government of I.K. Echampo, Ignatius Kutu Echampo. In fact, when Echampo took over, he announced to the whole world that, listen, we know we owe you so much money, but we cannot pay, so we will not pay. It was interesting. You owe people, and you say you will not pay. It was all because of Jones Ofori-Atta, the father of this man. And of course, the Busia administration itself was not a good administration. So the whole backbone of the administration collapsed. Today, his son is also finance minister. He has performed so abysmally. Even members of his own political party in parliament want him ousted. They want him out. Now the MP for Subin and some other MPs came together, formed an alliance against this finance minister, decrying the abysmal performance of this man. The president said, oh, don't worry, I will get him out, but first let him come and read the budget. He was allowed to come to the parliament house, even though some of them threatened that he would come and meet an empty house. He went and met a full house. And he spoke to the people, read the budget, and went away. On another occasion, he was summoned to the parliament house, where he had to explain the fact that he willfully caused financial damage to the economy. He survived it too. And then, interestingly, the MPs who wanted him out from his own party approached the president again and said, Mr. President, you must keep your word. You said this man should go. We asked that this man should go. And you said after reading the budget, he would go. He's read the budget. He said, well, he's in the middle of the IMF negotiation. Let him finish. International Monetary Fund. That is where we are right now. Now for Ofori-Atta, the only way out for Ghana is the IMF loan or the so-called bailout. Number two, for the bailout to happen, there must be what is called the domestic debt exchange program. It is an animal that every Ghanaian is scared of, especially pensioners who spent all their time working to the glory of this nation. And when they retired, they got their emoluments. Some of them bought government bonds because they were told that's the surest way of investment. They did. And today, it looks like they are losing their money. A lot of them have underlying, my brother, my sister, health problems. Did you hear that? A lot of them have underlying health problems. And these problems, a lot of them are able to manage from their investments with the government, the so-called government bonds. Today, they are told that some of them will have their money after 12 years. Some of them would have their principal after 10 years, and so on and so forth. So they have been running to the Ministry of Finance, demonstrating and picketing. Come, let's look at the details. Watch me. Ken Ofori-Atta summoned where? Before Parliament. Following calls for some exemptions from government's domestic debt exchange program, DDEP, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has been summoned. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, on Tuesday, February 7, endorsed a call from both sides of Parliament for the minister to brief the House on the policy statement and issues emerging since its introduction. According to him, this should be treated as an urgent matter by Mr. Ofori-Atta, particularly in the wake of protests by pensioners at the Ministry of Finance. Honorable members, my understanding is that both sides agree that the minister be scheduled to come and brief the House on the policy statement and some details about the debt arrangement. Parliament has spoken, and that is the end of the case, the Speaker said. Parliament is ever prepared to assist the government to get out of the quagmire. In fact, to get out of this quagmire. So what I can say now is that Parliament has spoken, and that is the end of it. The minister must be scheduled by the business committee as early as possible, because this is an urgent matter. Because the pensioners are picketing at the ministry. We need to do this as quickly as possible. Business committee should schedule the minister to appear before the House for a brief on the state of affairs, he added. He proposed 14 February 2023 for the appearance of the minister. Now, those of you who don't know the background, this is why we are saying what we are saying now. The Pensioner Bondholders Forum has asked the government to exempt them entirely from the debt exchange program. The bondholders' demand comes after the new terms the government has introduced after various consultations with stakeholders. Wielding placards whilst picketing the Finance Ministry on February 6, 2003, the bondholders insisted that until a meeting is granted them and as a resolution is given to their plea, they would picket the premises every day. According to the group, attempts to have their investment exempted from the program have proved futile. Reason for their decision to picket at the Finance Ministry under their demands, until their demands are met. Dash it away. Listen, these are pensioners who are very tired. They have underlying health problems. And these underlying health problems might be diabetes. Some of them even have mild stroke. A lot of these to do with old age. They have served this nation. They have been the gatekeepers of this nation. We all have come to continue this journey. They do not deserve this. What does it mean? A lot of them have bought government bonds. Some of them traveled outside the country and worked, came home with all the money and bought government bonds. The hitherto most reliable form of investment. Today, as it stands, it is heartbreaking that these old men who should be resting at home and be teaching their grandchildren how to read and be telling stories from the past to their great-grandchildren are picketing right at the Ministry of Finance. Do they deserve this? I have never seen old people like this in the history of this country going around picketing. The only time I heard about this kind of demonstration was when we had the Christianborg Crossroads shootings. When war veterans went all the way to speak with the governor, to present a petition to him, and they got gunned down. This reminds me of that incident. Old men and old women who kept the gate for us. Today we should be carrying them shoulder high for keeping that flame aloft. But no, we won't let them rest because of the wickedness. When the president was busily blowing away money and we spoke to him, he didn't care. Today as it stands, look at what is happening. We have been dragged into the gutters. Today as it stands, our old men and old women, our fathers and grandfathers have to demonstrate. They are forced to go out and demand their rights. Come here. I am so peeved that this is what is happening to our people. I am so sad that our people have to go through this. This government will go down in history as the worst government that this nation has ever had. We have a lame horse of a finance minister. And we have a sleeping president who is as confused as Satan, and he's in power. When we speak like this, they don't like it. The more they don't like it, the more we say it. Because what? Ghana first. Dash it away.
Go on, Skipper George.
Blackpot, Coco Show.